How is it going, everybody? This is the Uncanny Omar from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And I'm not going to waste any time on myself. You all know who I am.
Please don't.
So I'm going to go ahead and let everybody introduce themselves, making Jess the last one so he can suffocate underneath the mask. From my right, and then we'll go on down the road. Like, who are you folks and why are you here? What are we talking about today? What's up? Dom, who are you, man?
I'm Dom of X, Near Mint Condition Project Manager and ComicReleases.com Assistant Editor, your one-stop shop where you can find all up-to-date release dates, including Marvel Solicitations, which just dropped today, like 30 minutes ago. In respect to DC All In, I also have a video on my YouTube channel where I talk about all the product information, page counts, covers, etc. for all of the new and continuing creative titles. And thank you once again for having me here today on this panel.
Absolutely, buddy. All right. And to his right is none other than the person that destroyed comic book journalism.
I did my best, certainly. Lars Pearson, Norwegian Assassin, publisher and editor-in-chief of Mad Norwegian Press, formerly of Wizard Magazine. And, you know, Omar, may I welcome you back? It's always, you can always tell when the captain's at the helm. And
yes, because we're running late. That's exactly how.
Yes, we are running late with the consistency for which you are known. You can always
tell. And below me is this young lady. Who are you?
I am the Unstoppable Bar. I'm the Unstoppable Bar, that one weird girl who talks a lot in the chat and annoys Omar nonstop. And he begged me to do this, just saying he cried for me to do this. So that's why I'm here. I'm doing him a favor.
All kidding aside, I was paid a lot of money to have Bar on the show, and I couldn't turn it down because times are hard. So.
I said I'd write you a check. It's coming.
Yeah. If you didn't have kids to pay for it, it'd be okay.
Just started a GoFundMe for that to happen. And to her right is my buddy Peter. How is it going, Peter? Who are you? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Hello, Internet. My name is Crisis, spelled with a K. My home on the Internet is crushingcrisis.com, where I write about comic books and have been writing for just shy of 24 years next month. And I so rarely get to talk about DC Comics here, although I've all caught up and I write about them on Crushing Comics. So I'm so excited to be here to give you all of my DC Comics hot takes. They are fresh out of the oven. I'm a little disappointed that Omar invited Bar because now I have no one to fight with in the comments. It's going to all happen on screen. Where's the commentary track going to happen if Bar is not in the chat?
You should have stopped that. I'm a little sad that Omar invited.
No, all we need to do is get Jake to agree with me, which we know he will, and then we'll have a whole block in the middle. We'll have a whole row. We'll have tic-tac-toed. It's going to be great. Hollywood Squares.
Like how you are able to manipulate just about everybody on the panel to go your way. I do appreciate that about your weird mutant ability.
Thank you.
And to his right is none other than
Jake from The Brave and the Boys. And surprisingly, I'm actually happy Bar's here and sad that Crisis is here. So I didn't mean to go rogue. I mean, maybe it was the bullying me about my hair, or when I asked if I could be Crisis Lad, he said no. So you know what? I'm happy Bar's here.
Everyone likes me, Omar. You don't know what it feels like.
Hey, slow your roll. That said he's happy you're here. And underneath Bar, so Brave and the Boys, by the way, YouTube channel. And thank you, James, for putting all the links in the description. Underneath Bar is none other than one of my favorite people, BJ Kicks, who doesn't come here often because he is super busy with real work and, of course, podcast and his own channel. So tell me about yourself, man.
Yes, sir. So I am BJ Kicks. I am the Senior Vice President of Dopeness here at Near Mint Condition. Take that, Dom. I'm also the host of Comics Are Dope on YouTube, as well as the Comics Are Dope podcast. And I'm happy to be here.
And I'm happy to have you here. And that's it, everybody. That's everybody important on the panel. No more introductions. Last but not least, always trying to get me demonetized, is my buddy, the adorable Omnidog. I don't know why he's using that adjective. Who are you, my friend?
Because you gave it to me, Uncanny Omar, just like I gave you Uncanny. You called me the adorable Omnidog, and I've stuck with it ever since. I am adorable. Omnidog's Vault, Omnidog's _Vault on Instagram. and I have a Discord. And yes, I am here to set things straight with Bar about DC and their upcoming initiative. I stand in support of whatever Bar says, and I'm against whatever Peter has to say. I already know it.
Shots already fired. DC all in. I'm all out. Crisis site is killer. Yes, it is.
Oh.
You're all out. Thank you.
See, I don't have to talk now. The guy that one's just gonna.
That pretty much
stand for
sums
my
up
opinion.
how you feel about that. Viva
Well, we'll
Peru,
get there.
carajo! Not anymore, Jack. We're out. We're out of the running, man. I think Argentina took us out. So yeah, we are going to be talking about one of the most confusing titles to have come out of DC Comics. That kicks off with All In, but I'm going to let the whole panel discuss this as we go through it. So we do have a wonderful slideshow via my buddy Dom, who has been an amazing help here on the channel. Make sure, there we go. So let's go ahead and start talking about these things, the things that we know. And by the way, if y'all hear any breaking news as we're doing this live stream, please let us know. Dom can adjust anything. Right, Dom?
We're doing it live.
Very true statement.
That's quite the claim.
Yeah. Can you come here and help me adjust something?
Oh, whoa! Hey,
You said,
man,
not
maybe
making
my
sexual.
back.
This is
My
the
back
morning
needs
stream.
adjusting. Whoa.
Yeah, Lee.
I-
All
I-
right.
Oh, wait. Oh, before you get underway, I feel like we should very quickly address the fact that this is the latest in a series of DC things that we have to sit down and try to decipher. I don't know why it is that they can't communicate things cleanly, because when they announced DC Finest, we had to sit down and go, what does this mean? And then when they announced Absolute Power, we had to go, what does this mean? And now here we are with this one going, what does it mean? So yeah, there's a pattern with them.
Maybe that's their way of making us talk about them.
Yes,
I mean,
confusion.
Confusion, exactly.
Worked
It
for
wouldn't
every
be
other
DC
brand in the
if it
history of
weren't for that.
branding.
It won't actually tell. Not telling you will be preferable.
Well, also, I'm always a fan when one of the comic companies is still running the banner of whatever the prior thing is, and they're doing press releases for the next thing. I literally just 30 days ago totally caught up on all of the Dawn of DC titles. I'm like, okay, I'm here. It's dawn. It's like now it's not dawn. It's not noon. Who knows what time of day it is now? It is just absolute. And
We're in the dust.
you know,
of
and
DC.
what was that? Like 14 months, the land speed record of a rebranding.
Yeah.
All right. So this is normally when we do the Marvel stream, but because of San Diego Comic-Con, it's kind of put some things behind. I've actually got to make a couple of announcements before we can do the next stream, and so that next stream will be back to our regular schedule Thursday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. For people wondering, wait a minute, where are all the Marvel comics? I will give a tease as to what's to come, though. I'll show something that hasn't been shown yet. I don't think it's made it into the catalog yet. But yeah, let's start discussing this. Dom, why don't you take it away, buddy? Not because I didn't do the homework, but because I think you did a really good job on your video explaining a lot of this stuff. Look at what he wrote. This is
Look at
in
all
chat.
these words.
People. This is words. Dom,
It is words. It's words.
That
from
is an essay. Wow.
That is so much.
That's text heavy.
that is a Grant Morrison issue of Batman that people refuse to read. All right, Dom, break it down. What is this?
confusing?
So DC All In is, according to Scott Snyder and Joshua Williamson, I'm paraphrasing this is their biggest initiative since 2016's DC Rebirth that launched a whole bunch of brand new titles in the wake of DCU. And it all starts with an all-in one-shot by said creative team and artist Daniel St. Pierre and Wes Craig, where readers will learn about the unique circumstances behind the dawn of a brand new world called the Absolute Universe and see the shocking vision of the future of the regular Earth Zero core DC universe. We have brand new creative teams on books like Action Comics, Batman and Robin, Nightwing, Titans, Catwoman, and continuing series such as Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman will helm new visions with the same creative team. So you will see people like Chip Zdarsky, Tom King, Joshua Williamson, etc. continue their stunning books in that fashion under this branding. And we will talk about this later, obviously, but you have Absolute Universe now headed by Scott Snyder, Kelly Thompson, and Jason Aaron, all respectively on the Trinity. And we will wait and see what they have in store for those specific characters and much more.
Wow. That was a DC publicity, huh? I thought you wrote that. Okay.
I wrote some of it.
Is intense as hell. He's the Cougar of X. That's sweet. All right. Well done, Dom. Thank you for that wonderful introduction, which takes us to the DC All-In Special One-Shot. Written by Scott Snyder and Joshua Williamson, who just seems to be kind of like the DC new Scott Snyder for the last couple of years. And I actually enjoy a lot of his writing. Had Wes Craig and Daniel Sampere or Sampier? Who knows here?
Thanos.
You jackass. All right. The cover is by Rafael Sandoval. I know that one. So, what is the DC All-In Special One-Shot? Anybody but Dom, who has obviously gone into hiding. Has anybody heard about this or what this is? This is what's kicking it off. Peter, do you know much about this?
I thought I just saw BJ reading it on camera.
I was reading it on camera. So,
all right, BJ, you're up, buddy.
This is should I keep reading? All right. So, following the events of DC's blockbuster storyline Absolute Power, the heroes of the core DC universe have fought against the deep division. This is too long. Why? This is two paragraphs.
It's not as long as the PowerPoint though.
It's the same text. It's just put anyway.
Dom condensed it.
The point is, this is going to be like a 64-page one-shot, told from two different perspectives. So it's a flip book. You're going to get one part written by Scott Snyder, the other written by Joshua Williamson. So you'll literally read the book like this, then you'll flip it over and you'll read it again to get the story from the light side, so to speak, and then the dark side, or the
universe all pros.
It seems that way. But yeah, something's going on with dark side energy. Dark side senses it, and I don't know how it's going to happen, but we're going to end up with another Earth called the Absolute Universe.
They really like these all or nothing type of names for their Earths, like Earth Prime, Earth 1, and now Absolute Earth. Okay.
I feel like they could make a more confusing name.
Well, yeah. First of all, they already have the.
We're gonna have absolute Batman one day.
You're absolutely right.
Absolute power.
Well, they have absolute editions already, so that's confusing. And calling it DC All In, it makes it sound like the entire DC universe up until this point has been half-assing it.
I just love that everybody's just using the hashtag All In as if anybody's going to associate that with DC anything.
Well, it started like on social media, right? Like a bunch of creators were like, I'm all in with DC. I'm all in with DC. My favorite one was Ryan Stegman saying, I'm all in with DC, and then saying ... No, just kidding. I'm the artist on X-Men. So it is interesting that they are okay. So this isn't like the beginning of the All-Star line, and it's not like the beginning of, I guess, oh golly, this is sort of like their Vertigo. They know of its existence and they know that it's going to be a different Earth. Is that right? Like just reading about this.
So blah, blah, blah. It seems like Darkseid knows that the other Earth exists, and perhaps the others don't.
Yeah, is this an Elseworlds parallel Earth situation, or is it supplanting the mainstream one?
Even Elseworlds wasn't like, you weren't aware, like characters weren't aware of the Elseworlds until that that John Byrne book, right? Like the Superman Batman book where they were just traveling and stuff. So let me get the super chat really quick. DC has struggled with doing modernizing reboots and then walking it back by restoring old canon legacy. Crisis on Infinite Earths, Infinite Crisis, New 52, and Rebirth. All In seems to have finally reconciled with two continuities. Oh, Lord have mercy.
Okay, I think that's a terrific point, though, because I think the way that I've been thinking about this, that feels like it's helping me digest it, because we all know I hate any other Earth, any Ultimate Universe. I'm all out. But the way that I've been thinking about it is, this is kind of like if they had launched New 52 and not exploded the rest of the DC universe with Flashpoint, right? Because these heroes are going to have like briefer histories. They're going to be missing key parts of their continuity that, you know, let them grow up to be different heroes in this absolute universe, which is a lot of how New 52 got set up. Retroactively, 7-8 years later, they explained, oh, that was Dr. Manhattan. He changed a couple key things to experiment, et cetera, in Doomsday Clock, which, as retcons go, is decent, but it kind of like we never really understood the why of it during New 52. So here's a version of that now, 13 years later, where they're kind of trying to do it right and saying, look, we're not just introducing this whole thing under mystery, the way that New 52 emerged out of Flashpoint. This time, we're actually telling you why it's emerging, how it's emerging, and we're not getting rid of our whole old continuity anyway. So as much as I love to beat up DC, it does seem like this very old dog, and no disrespect to Omnidog, this very old dog has learned a couple of new tricks in the intervening 13 years.
May I ask, though, for something that is supposed to draw in new readers, it's very confusing even to those who already read comics. And at the end of the day, I'm still not 100% sure how it's going to affect, like, is absolute power going to affect like the main universe, like the current ongoing series like Batman, Poison Ivy, and such?
Yes.
Or are those just going to continue as usual, just starting completely new arcs? And this absolute thing is going to be like a separate, its own thing that will not affect the main universe? Or I'm not exactly sure how, if it connects or if I fully understand this.
It seems like it's going to be connected, just from reading a little bit of the synopsis, that at least some characters are aware of the existence of this other Earth, while the other Earth can go and have mighty misadventures. So I guess in a way, like, going back to the Ultimate Universe, in a way like the Ultimate Universe existed.
Yeah.
And then we had one of the early crossovers where 616 character and the Ultimate counterpart teamed up. But so it's like they're going to have their own ongoing series, but some characters will be aware that, hey, this other Earth exists. Just from my understanding of what's happening. I don't know how I feel about that, but maybe like Peter said, or what BJ was talking about, like, maybe they just come to terms with like, look, we're going back to multiple Earths. It's going back to the days of, well, Jess, this is like your glory days, man, when you knew there were multiple Batmans and there was multiple, like the JSA and the JLA, right? Like,
what a way to call you old.
That's
I don't think he was calling me old there. I think you just called me old. So you're dead to me now, Bar. Thank you very little.
I guess my question would be how much would we want them to cross over if the all, you know, the all in or the this other Earth, the absolute Earth or whatever, is supposed to stand on its own. And I know they're going to do a Crisis, you know, on two Earths thing someday, but like I'd want this new absolute universe to stand on its own a little bit, you know, and like get some, you know, get some issues under it. Because if this is supposed to attract new readers like New 52 was supposed to, without destroying the old universe, would a new reader care about it crossing over with this other universe they're not reading? I feel like it really needs to stand on its own.
It seems like that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, if as we go through the rest of the solicits, like the mainline DC stuff just looks like the mainline DC stuff with nice uniform covers so that you know you're supposed to buy it all in one day. And then the absolute stuff kind of stands on its own, like, ooh, you want this nice dark edgy DC universe 90s kids? Grab those too.
Yeah. If they're basically doing the Ultimate Universe, then fine. I just wish it'd been a little more strongly telegraphed. We're doing the Ultimate, you know, branding thing.
Well, there's no way they're gonna
they wouldn't come out and say that. No. I think we're
doing the absolute opposite of the Ultimate Universe.
Well, yeah, no, absolutely. So in preparation for this, I actually got caught up on Absolute Power, and I think we're just gonna have to wait until the end of Absolute Power to know how this shakes out. I will say I'm enjoying Absolute Power. I think it's a strong story by Mark Waid. It's working really well. Nothing in there really indicates we're headed toward a branching effect or a reboot, but I guess we'll find out.
Well, and I see that discussion. I think one of the things that Marvel always has done right with Ultimate Universe is they don't let it cross over that much, right? So it's like a big deal when originally Miles did Spider-Man, when Galactus went over there, because it's it's not just another Earth. And I think the thing that DC sometimes gets a little bit wrong when they do these separate Earths, which they do many times, right? There was, an Earth, there was an alternate Earth during Flashpoint. Infinite Frontier launched with other Earths. Even during Dawn of DC, Waller had just got back from being on another Earth, which is part of what set up all of this. But DC kind of lets people freely travel between them. The thing that DC used to do, that Omar was hinting at in terms of like the JSA, JLA stuff, is that it was actually a big epochal, once annual, mark your calendars event that they would cross over, and it wasn't so permeable. So like maybe that's really what this is going to imitate the most from Ultimate Universe, which is that even though traditionally we all think of DC Earths as being like free passport from one another, that this is actually going to be much more separated due to Darkseid's motivations for separating.
Yeah, I feel like I like that. I want to keep them separate and have it stand on its own, because when it crosses over, it should matter enough if you're a new reader that only reads Absolute. Like, I feel like you need to be invested enough, and I just don't want them. I don't want them crossing over willy-nilly,
Many people here all in and think pro wrestling. Thank you, John. I remember when Joe Quesada mentioned that. It was a conversation between Dan Didio and Joe Quesada, and Dan Didio said, "Well, we know that one day 616 Spider-Man is going to cross over with Ultimate Spider-Man. That's good. There's no way that doesn't happen, Joe." And Joe Quesada was like, "No, that's never going to happen." And then we had 2 series called Spider-Man. So
8 years is close to never in comic time, to be fair.
Okay, fair enough. I think these will kind of stand on. Honestly, I think the way that this will stand on its own is when they kick off their series. There is a good question. Did you guys Absolute Vodka? Thanks, Sean. There was a question about. Oh, did we watch the video? Did anybody watch the Snyder and Williamson video? The announcement of this?
I did.
What did you all learn?
Understand anything, but
You
yeah,
didn't understand
sure.
anything. Okay.
It seemed to me like they were really trying to stress the point that like it is its own separate thing, which sounded cool, but so it's like they're like we've talked about before, they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. So they're trying to do New 52, but not destroy the universe for current readers, which I think sounds promising. But I feel like when that messaging gets mixed is when they're like, but Darkseid is in between both of it, and like, but it's like I'd rather it just be stand on its own new universe, for a bit.
Thoughts, Jess? Well, Jess is gone. Okay, Jess is gone. All right, so let's just keep on moving.
Yeah, no, they definitely stressed that it was like a new jumping in point. Like, I don't know. I feel like Scott Snyder was like, if you like your doctor, keep your doctor. Like, he just really kept harping on it. But yeah, if you want to read the books, keep reading the books.
This is exactly what Quesada said. That if they did that, then it meant they run out of ideas. Yep. So that's when he said
they
it.
had 8 years of ideas before that, though. So that's plenty.
The thing with that video, it kind of felt like they were trying to get ahead of the leaks, because man, the leaks were killing them. Like people pretty much already knew everything that they were saying, like weeks beforehand. So they really didn't add anything that people didn't know, and it was like 10 minutes of them just explaining something that I feel could have been explained in like a minute or two. But it's kind of weird to me. I feel like they really meant to keep this announcement for San Diego Comic-Con, but then they were kind of forced into showing their hand beforehand, and they didn't know just how much they wanted to share before San Diego Comic-Con. So I feel that's probably why they were so vague about it, because they were not yet sure how much of it they wanted to tell. But I also don't know yet what they're going to do with it in San Diego Comic-Con. But I do hope they're going to explain it a little better. And they're going to announce, I don't know if they're going to announce any new series that will take place in the Absolute Universe, but I do hope that it's not just the Trinity for the time being.
Well, I mean, those of us who can't avoid the leaks because spend our whole time on Twitter, there's at least 2 more series that are absolutely confirmed that are coming. They're both tinted rather green. So perhaps we can get into that a little bit later. I think it's kind of interesting, though, to look at, especially this first slide, and I love how Dom set these up, to kind of talk about, like, what is the Absolute Universe bringing that the regular universe isn't, right? So we look at Ultimate Marvel. and especially all of the hype around Hickman's Ultimate Spider-Man, it's giving us this thing that Marvel won't give us in regular universe. This older Spider-Man who has kids, this family Spider-Man that people have been saying Spider-Man would be good if you just did this. And so Marvel's like, okay, here it is, by the hottest writer in all of comics. So let's look at this. Clearly, there's a lot of affection around Scott Snyder coming back and writing Batman. But like, what is this giving us? He's this Batman that didn't have Alfred, right? That's what they keep saying in the marketing materials. And so he doesn't have the resources and he doesn't have the love and affection, and he's an absolute chunk. So how is that different than what we've been getting from Zdarsky, what we've been getting from Ram V, and then what we're about to get from Tom Taylor as he takes over one of the Batman titles?
Yeah.
Visually, he looks different. I mean, even if you're looking at the comments right now, what's going on with Batman's leg? What's up with his symbol? Are those wings or are those his cape? And I think that's what
one drawing. Just relax.
Well, and it's Nick Dragotta, who I really enjoy. He's the artist on East of West. Let me get this from Bruce really quick. I believe the problem facing Warner Discovery is now affecting DC Comics, where they are just throwing things at the wall to see what sticks.
I don't agree with that at all.
I wanted to point this out to something that Josh said earlier. I feel like DC loves to build hype with the press releases, then just have the comic stand on its own. I remember DC was doing things like Grant Morrison and Jim Lee on Wildcats. We got super hyped up for the people that liked Wildstorm. And you had Grant Morrison and Jim Lee working on a book together. And we got one issue.
Yeah.
And that's it. This happens a lot in comics, but I think like sometimes there's a little bit of truth to what Josh is saying. Sometimes they just put things and get people hyped up. I mean, look at the 5G, right? 5G was like going on and on for like 2 months, and then, well, Dan Didio got fired, so I guess
to try to answer Peter's question, what I'm hopeful they're trying to give us here is just a cracking story, because when they did the Ultimate line, the Ultimate's premise was, what if we were creating the Marvel universe now? That doesn't feel like the premise here, because if you were creating Superman fresh, I'm not sure you would go with the homeless angle. I'm not sure you would go with the Batman is, penniless angle. So I'm hoping these are just really, really good stories that trying to crowbar them to take, Superman as he is now and try to convincingly make him homeless might be challenging. I'm hoping they're giving us good stories.
I just hope that they don't
I also wanted to answer to Peter. I think at the end of the day, Batman does not really stand on his own. When people read Batman books, they read Gotham and they read the villains and they read the Bat Family. And we don't know anything yet about what this new version of Gotham and this new version of all the villains will be. So I feel that's part of at least my intrigue about this Batman book, because Batman himself is not necessarily anything new, but we don't know anything about what's surrounding him in this reality. So that's what I'm intrigued about.
I liked Ronzilla's comment that said the Trinity characters have always been godlike and adored. So I hope that they're not trying to go for like edginess. I hope they're trying to make the DC heroes a little more grounded, a little more accessible. Like, it would be cool to see a broke Batman that had to, work a dead end job or be blue collar to to survive. Like, see him balance things other than just having, godlike money, or, I think it could be interesting as long as they don't try to make it too edgy.
And it's really difficult to make that decision of how different do you want the character to be, because that's the thing with Ultimate Spider-Man. Ultimate Spider-Man, at the end of the day, Uncle Ben still died. With great power comes great responsibility. It's not like they changed the character a lot, right? No. And you really can't do that whenever you also have movies out there. And I can't imagine this Batman, like his parents are still alive, right? Like, he's a happy Batman. I can't imagine them changing the character too much, because at the end of the day, it still has to be Bruce Wayne, the tortured soul. This is why I dress like a bat and go and kick ass. Like, they can't. It's just it would be too weird for them to change it.
Especially if it's for new readers. Like, you don't want it to be so different that they think, oh, this is a good jumping on point, so they get absolute Batman #2 and they're like, what the hell is this? This isn't what I know of Batman. So I feel like you're right, there has to be a lot of through line for new readers.
Also, Batman is one of those characters that we've seen every version of him. I mean, I think there's a limit to how many something completely new you can do with him. At the end of the day, Batman, you may not be able to make something completely new with the character of Batman, but maybe you can change the other things around him and the circumstances and the story to make it interesting, to make it different from all the previous versions that broke Batman and all that stuff, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's a good point about what's been happening. So I've actually been loving the Batman titles the past couple of years. I know there's a lot of rending of flesh over Chip Zdarsky's. I know that that Melanie and I are big fans of it, and I think because I tend to like it when, to Jake's point, like Batman's superpower isn't money. When Batman sometimes has to work a little bit alone and doesn't have infinite resources, but a lot of people like only want Batman who has infinite money, infinite gadgets, nothing bad happens to him other than he gets kicked one time and then he wins. It's like they want to, feels like a lot of reader sentiment is like they just want to see Batman that's on a god mode in a video game where he can't ever be on the back foot. And they kind of like riot sometimes when the comics have him getting beaten up, especially if both Detective and Batman both have him beating up at the same time. So I kind of wonder if they're going to use this to pivot Batman to be a little bit more classic in the mainstream continuity, which he hasn't been for a few years now. Maybe even Alfred might be coming back if they're going to make a big deal about Alfred being gone in Absolute. And then they're going to use Absolute for this like beleaguered Batman.
Because Alfred's gone on vacation, is what people.
And recently, like post Tom King, like I know like that Batman doesn't have infinite money either. So I wonder if you're right, if they are going to move some things back to the status quo.
Well, he recently did. They are bringing it back, so it's like it does kind of seem like a chance to get Batman back to Bat basics. In the
I didn't make it past Nightmares. I was so pumped for Dawn of DC, and then like as soon as it got momentum, they were like, "Here's 75 crossover issues for."
It's going to be very interesting to see how this goes if they're really serious about the new readers angle. Because, okay, so you're a new reader. Well, Batman's broke and Superman's homeless and Wonder Woman's this. And, I mean, as you say, with the Ultimate range, the core was still there. Here, it's like an access point, but it's quite different. And if the storytelling's good enough, then that might be okay. It might be okay.
Well,
It's going to be weird.
I think that's
Jess, I'm gonna let you read the super chat, Jess.
Subscribe. Wait, let me see if I can pronounce this right. Subscribe to Omnidog's Vault. Bar for president.
President of what?
I don't know, but Elon wants Bar to be president.
President of DC. They need me. I feel like they need me.
Oh God.
Yes.
Okay.
I agree.
So, Absolute Poison Ivy and Absolute Harley Quinn are the only green titles.
Oh, I'm with her on
choose
that.
Better writers for some of these books. Just saying.
Whoa! Shots fired. We're not even there yet. Golly. Really quick, Jacob has been asking question: if the Absolute Universe is anything like the Ultimate Universe, which Ultimate characters would fit Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, and villains in general, like the Ultimates and X-Men? You mean what's the equivalent of Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman?
Batman villain has to be Bane because he already looks like he's beefed up on Venom right there.
I don't think we're going to know until we know, which is part of, I kind of just am surprised by kind of the hand-wringing and people getting spun up around the axle on this stuff. Is they've got a murderer's row of writers. They've got excellent artists, and people tend to get in their own way when it comes to this kind of thing. I'm not going to judge any of this until enough of it's out that I can read it and make an opinion. But to me, having two different universes out there of DC characters, to me, that's a great thing if it's written right. And the writers they have set up to write this stuff, it gives me... I know hope is being used a lot here. I hope they do this. I hope they do that. I just hope we get the stories that we want, and we really can't judge anything. And I do understand the point of Dawn of DC only having lasted long as the real Dawn in my backyard lasts, which is about 30 minutes. So I get that people at least want this to go for a while and mean something, but in the meantime, we've got great writers with characters that have staying power, and I'm just going to withhold my opinion to see what we end up getting. I do understand I do understand the confusion about absolutes. That that doesn't make a lot of sense when you've already got a collected edition line that's famous for the word absolute. But that being said, I am like what Peter said, I do feel like for this to make any impact, they need to at least have, and I don't know if sales is going to be the main denominator here, but just let these things go on so we can sort of get our cleats in the ground and figure out what's happening. But I'm all in favor of an extra line of really good stories about really good characters, even though I don't know who the heck the guy is that's writing Harley Quinn. I'm not very happy about that.
He's a Daily Show writer, according to my buddy Dom.
He was, and he wrote the Disney villains Hades, and he's writing Hercules right now.
Hades was good.
Yeah.
I like Hades.
I think he was
I'm
Mystery
not happy
Science
about
Theater
that.
too. Did he write on Mystery Science Theater? Okay.
He did. He did.
As
I'm not a
usual,
fan.
I will
already
wait
wrote
until
Harley, and I'm not a fan of that, of what he
Okay,
wrote.
well,
So-
Harley.
he wrote Harley in like a miniseries of Suicide Squad like 3 or 4 years ago, I think.
Mhm.
And I'm just not a fan. The writing feels very Tini Howard kind of.
Whoa.
Very,
well,
Let's
I
not
think
talk
Tini
writing
Howard
with
is
other
capable
writers.
of writing
very
good
over
stuff.
the top zany.
Jess,
Before we
I-
move on
I-
And
from
that's
Batman.
Jess, I
Um,
want to say that
Oh, go
really
ahead,
quick,
Omar.
just really quick. I wish more people had your mentality of, well, I'll just wait to judge it until it comes out. Unfortunately, this is the internet. I don't know if you've been introduced to it. People.
This is my first
are
introduction. Thank
Are
you.
really angry out there about things, and especially things they're passionate about, whether it's Star Wars or Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings or comic books. It doesn't matter. People are just this is something that they've known all their lives, and who knows better than fans? And it's okay for people to have those kind of feelings too. Like, I'm not digging that Batman. He's a little too bulky. What's the hell's going on? Not by hashtag, not my Batman. So you know what I'm saying? But I'm with you.
I get
we'll
it, but I'm like this with movies too. People prejudge movies and TV shows and everything. Like, this looks terrible, and then why don't we just wait until it comes out and judge it? So that's
Prejudging makes you save money. Just
Well,
saying.
people
Well,
hate
Art
the
actually
fact
has a
that-
good point.
well,
hate it,
okay.
that's
I'm
cool,
buying
you
it
know?
anyway, just so I can read it and find out.
But I think that's I think it's much more interesting to me to kind of talk about the circumstances around it than kind of like prejudge what the story's going to be. And so to that, I know,
Yeah.
I mean, we're about to move on to my favorite writer in comics and my favorite character in comics. But first, I'm interested to know, are people legit excited for more Scott Snyder Batman, or are they like, I roll whatever? BJ,
know what?
where are
I'm
you
gonna
on
Scott
that?
Snyder fans are very happy.
I'm going to
Crisis,
create
I
a
will.
poll.
All right.
Yeah, I'm
Are
kind
you
of
excited? Go ahead, BJ.
now. I'm kind of indifferent as far as Scott Snyder on Batman. The way I feel generally is I've been enjoying DC pretty heavily for the last 3 years, like since
Yeah.
Infinite Frontier. I don't feel like they've done anything that I've been like, I hate this. Even death metal, I liked death metal, although there were too many tie-ins. So like I'm kind of cautiously optimistic, but generally speaking, I think DC is going to do fine. I'm curious as to why all the things that I thought have been relatively good about DC aren't sticking, and why they feel like they need to have a big initiative right now when they seemed to be doing well with Dawn of DC. But I trust editorial to a degree.
I
Okay,
think, in a
well,
way, I'm with you. Like, as I was catching up on John and DC, all these people on social media were telling me it sucks. There's no reason to get back into DC, and I famously dropped it at the beginning of Infinite Frontier because I felt that way. I have loved Dawn of DC. I think every book has been good, pretty much. And
isn't it
I
kind of
don't. I
continuing,
think
Peter?
Getting back to
It
Justice
is.
point, it's like I feel like a lot of the negativity about Dawn of DC is the negativity around the marketing and the rollout of it, and not about the actual stories.
But I
What's
think
your
Jess
take?
brings up a good point. It is supposed to be continuing. What they stressed is that the all-in initiative is that your stories are going to continue with new jumping on points. So I don't think they're throwing out, the baby with the bathwater for Dawn of DC. I think they're just trying to give you a new spot for new readers to jump in on the stories that are currently happening.
Well, and I also
Absolutely.
think they're trying to like do a little rinse of the brand, since people kind of have already decided that they're negative on Dawn of DC, partially because of Nightmares interrupting it in like 2 months.
That
I
was
think they're like,
so-
okay,
such a
let's
bad
put that aside.
time.
This is all in, but secretly it's
Justice
still
League
Dawn of
on-
DC.
Justice League
Oh, I'm
Unlimited.
all
Mark
about
Waid and
that.
Dan Mora announced at San Diego Comic-Con. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
just
Oh,
for
that's
that.
a day one buy.
Nice.
More crappy
I'm a little
comics from Mark Waid for me to
confused.
skip.
I'm a
Let
little
me-
confused why
Oh
they
my
chose
God,
this
really?
time. I'm a little confused why they chose this time to do such an initiative when the DC cinematic universe is starting in next year. I think
And we'll
that
have
would have been
another
like
one
the
then.
perfect time to create something for new readers to jump on.
Oh, they
Well, you got to
announced
create it ahead though, because these are the
Well-
books and the trades and things that are going to be out on the shelves when the movies hit. Like that, this is the time.
It might be preferable to do it now when you can do it, without the basically
you can
dark
have-
distraction of the movies.
collected editions by the time the movies are hitting.
Yeah, there is that too.
I mean, I'm just saying, at the time that Suicide Squad and Justice League in 2016 were about to come out, the hype was so strong. Rebirth was selling like crazy because of the movies. Harley Quinn #1 was the #1 best-selling issue because of the movie that came out right before the relaunch. And Suicide Squad was #2. Who thought that Suicide Squad would be the #2 best-selling comic of the month?
That was,
I
it
think
was an
that
awful comic.
well,
I mean,
to be fair, some of these titles aren't good. Like, there's not. They're going to do another Batman movie, but it seems like it's not arriving anytime soon. And they're going to do another. I mean, a lot of these titles will not have a movie coming soon. Superman, there will be. But other than Superman,
It's a response to Ultimate relaunch at Marvel. Timing doesn't need any more explanation than
well,
that.
yeah, in a way, that's true.
That actually might, and there's a lot of truth to that too, because those Ultimate titles outselling these 1/6 titles.
Look at this book, though. Kelly Thompson and Tom King. I know now that Peter, I don't know what's happened to him, that he doesn't like Mark Waid and Tom King, but God bless him. I love both of these books. Kelly Thompson and Tom King on Wonder Woman.
Kelly Thompson is doing the absolute Wonder Woman. Tom King will continue writing the ongoing Wonder Woman series.
Isn't Absolute going to be a continuing storyline though?
No, absolutely.
Yeah, but it's going to be in its own universe.
Just here, we're here on the Absolute Show. Welcome to the Absolute All-In
That's what
Show.
I'm saying. We get two different Wonder Women.
I mean,
written by my
King
favorite
has to
writers.
continue
I don't
writing
see.
Wonder Woman
I don't see
because
what's
one
wrong
day
with that.
he'll actually get to the main story. Because so far there's been nothing but build up.
So Kelly Thompson's writing an Absolute Wonder Woman, which I think is great, and I like Tom King's Wonder Woman, and I think that's great. So I don't see what the issue is with having an absolute line where Kelly Thompson gets to write Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with it. I think a lot of people want Kelly Thompson on main Wonder Woman. But
well,
I'll be honest with you, a little behind the scenes, when I got to interview her, she told me that she was going to be writing Wonder Woman, but I think she thought she was going to be writing the main Wonder Woman line, not an absolute. So I think this absolute thing might be kind of newish to the writers as well as the fans.
Well,
I'm not saying that they just came up with this idea like the day that this was announced, but even the writer didn't know exactly, because she said Wonder Woman. So I was like, oh, after Tom King it leaves, and she
Didn't they
thought
say
I
it was
thought
2
she was
years
like
in the
she was going to
making?
be writing it with Tom King. So it is pretty interesting where this might end up going.
But
It
they said
is
that
weird,
they've been
like-
developing this for years now. Scott
Yeah.
Snyder in the
I
announcement.
mean, they said that, but that doesn't mean it's true.
oh yeah, right.
right.
This
Well, I
has
think-
been
I mean,
in
Barb,
according
we're
to Scott
current
for
on
5 years since he started Dark Knight's Death Metal. It probably evolved over time, considering he said along the lines of like he was thinking about doing something like this while he was writing indies, and he didn't want to do superheroes anymore, which is how he led to this.
Well, and I think for those of us who are really caught up on the comic books, when they say it's in the works for years, it's in the works for years because Wade has been setting up plot threads of this. The Waller stuff has been happening. Probably, Snyder's probably been on the phone with Williamson. That doesn't necessarily mean that every one of these writers has been in this writer's room for 2 years. We've seen Ewing in his newsletter teasing that he's in this amazing writer's room that reminds him of being in the X office for the past couple of months. And Ewing is teased as one of the writers we're going to get on one of the further titles. I don't know if that means Ewing has been in that writer's room for 2 years, though. I think, some of these people were later breaking than Scott Snyder.
Did
Makes
anyone
sense,
see the
yeah.
rumor that the absolute comics might be sold at Walmart and Target? I feel like that could be a really positive thing for new readers.
Oh, that
The
would be
last
awesome.
time that they tried to do something like that with the Batman and Superman giant, which
Bendis
is how
book,
we got
right?
Batman Universe and Superman
Mhm.
Up in the Sky by Tom King. They got trampled over by speculators, and the shipping was so bad that most of the comics didn't even get to their final destinations.
But both of those comics were amazing, but they were packaged in with like random reprints of other things. You know, if you look at what Target did with like, they recently did like some special hardcovers that weren't sold to other places, like The Winning Card by Tom King and Mitch Gerard. I bought them, like, and it's cool to go to a Target and see those books there.
Are they selling those random packs? I think I saw some the last time I went. Death Metal definitely hinted at the universe stuff, but it also hinted at a crisis, which already happened. I thought the crisis already happened with the last crisis they had, which was what, Dark Crisis? Was that the last one?
Scott
Dark
Snyder
Crisis on
also
the
mentioned
Universe.
in the DC announcement video that absolute power is now being considered a crisis.
What?
Which is fascinating.
So
What I've
Mike-
read of it so far, it isn't pitched that way.
It doesn't seem
see.
that way at all.
No, but we'll see.
All right, Harvey P. Cars. Thank you. Why aren't you yelling? I'm excited for the new Dynamite Diva. Can we make Omnidog the center square? Is that darkest timeline? Omar Bar rules. Obviously, this
Actually, be
man.
down to move Jess a few boxes lower. That way, when the comments get highlighted,
That's why I
Can we
always
get
put
rid
myself
of
at the
Jake
bottom.
just altogether?
In
hey,
life.
at least I know we're talking about a separate
murder.
universe.
That's
I do
murder.
too.
All right.
I said that from the beginning.
From
I know
Twitter.
exactly
That's
what
murder.
we're talking about. I said having her write an absolute Wonder Woman is great. I don't know where
Jeff
you
is-
thought I didn't. I thought it was a one shot. I figured it was
Jess is getting the
continuing.
crowbar again.
You're
Yeah,
gonna
I
unleash
am.
the dog. You're gonna unleash the Omni dog. Twitter
You
Omni
is
are,
Dog
because
with
that's
the
not what I
crowbar.
said at all.
Scott Snyder.
Leave Jess alone.
I'm gonna give you
You guys.
I'm gonna give you three your own room here in a second. Twitter, Scott Snyder on absolute power. Discourse around superheroes being okay. So James, by the way, is keeping up with the tweets that are happening because I see James like having 45 different monitors and keeping up at the same time. Hold on a second, John. I'm so sorry I missed your super chat, buddy. Hold on, give me a second. Peter, I want to hear from you and here. I want the thank you so much, John, for sending that message. I want
love
these
this chat.
to be good. But it feels like from the marketing so far, like the brand of edgy energy that gave us Angel Powers Punisher. Oh, the Punisher Angel days. Those are
Oh,
pretty
good.
awesome.
There's an Omnidog hater, and he paid $5 for his hate.
That was actually me on a separate account.
I believe it.
Dog has questionable taste at best. The rest of the panel seems reasonable.
Peace and
Is it-
love. Thanks for the $5 that I won't say.
Well, it's actually $2.45. Thank you so much for that.
Send some more hate. I don't get any hate because you're the only one. Brer
Omnidog-
247. I spend $10 next time.
Man,
Yeah.
you woke up in a mood today. We don't have to agree with each other. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite people on this planet is Peter, but Peter has the worst taste in comics.
I mean, I've seen his picks for Evergreen Omnis and stuff.
Have you seen his taste in
I'm sorry, am I
X-Men?
supposed to love Hal Jordan? No.
Yes. How dare you?
Omar, you
No,
deserve
I'm with you,
Oh, thank you,
Peter.
bud.
I'm with you on this.
I like how they leave really undefined what this is. Yeah.
this.
You
thank you for
deserve this.
I think he means the money. But the next super
Uh,
chat is my money. I'm claiming
Okay.
it.
I mean, you know, Kelly Thompson is my favorite comic book writer. Wonder Woman is my favorite comic book character. And the Tom King is my least favorite comic book writer. And his title is my least favorite currently running comic book. So you would think that this would be me, you know, like hallelujah down the church aisles. But it just feels kind of like, oh, Kelly Thompson gets to write the secondary Wonder Woman. We can't, but that was my initial reaction. I was like, oh, like Kelly Thompson's one of the biggest writers in comics. Kick King off his crappy book and give us Kelly Thompson. But then I took a breath and I thought to myself, you know what? If somebody's going to reinvent Wonder Woman and do a Wonder Woman that feels like vital and is just not so weighed down by so many years of she's hated, she's not hated, she's about love, she's about war. Who better than Kelly Thompson, who's not only one of the best writers in comics, but is obsessed with Wonder Woman the same amount that I am. So look at, she's riding a skeleton Pegasus. I mean, it's just cool. So I'm trying to temper my natural hatred of alternate continuities and my natural hatred of Tom King and my natural hatred of many things that DC does to say, like, let's just trust the rule of cool for a second here.
Here, look at it like that.
We talked a
It could
little
have been
bit
the opposite way around. It could have been King writing the absolute Wonder Woman
True.
and being given full control of what he can do with her.
So
Just saying.
We've talked about
Wonder
the
Woman
writer.
sad looking out a window.
We've talked about the writer. But I do want to point out that Hayden Sherman is an amazing artist. I got to interview them at New York Comic Con, and they worked on a book from Vault Comics that came out last year. It was the book that I actually gifted you, Jess, because I knew you were a fan of it too. The hardcover that came in the slipcase.
Of what book?
The Vault comic by Hayden Sherman. Oh gosh, what is it called? The one about the Wasted Space.
Yeah.
But
Wasted Space.
Their work in Wasted Space is so good. I didn't realize how young they were either. They're 20 something years old, and when they were doing Wasted Space, they were like 18 something.
Wow.
But phenomenal artists that I can't wait. Look at the freaking cityscape on that piece.
That perspective is great.
It's good. Yeah, I'm excited for it. And the reason I brought up, Omnidog when I mentioned earlier was, this is like living in the glory days for him, because there were options to pick and choose the different books that you like, the different Batman that you like, with that annual crossover that they would have with the JSA and the JLA meeting maybe once a year.
Well, this looks good to me too. Jason Aaron writing Superman, and then Lois somehow gets powers. Fine. I'm excited to read that.
Listen, I will
that's
buy
the ongoing
any book that Rafa Sandoval draws. Just straight up.
Sir.
Me too.
Do you not?
Has Aaron written Superman in the past?
He wrote the
He just wrote an Action
first 3
Comics
issues
couple
of the Action Comic Superstars initiative that came out earlier this year. He did the Bizarro story with John Sims.
Oh, okay.
It was pretty bad.
It was good. I enjoyed it.
So I've been reading the Joshua Williamson stuff. It's solid. I really like his take on Superman.
Really, really good.
But I don't remember Dan Mora drawing it. Did he come on?
He's coming on with that issue.
Okay.
I feel like we need to apologize to the chat. Omar is not great at multitasking, so he's not seeing like most of what you write.
What am I apologizing for?
Like
Absolutely
people are
nothing.
talking and we're not.
I'm clicking on it, but we have to keep moving. Like, unless it's something really important. Like
I think the Superman one is the one I'm most worried.
Yeah.
The one I'm most cautious about, because I'm so tired of seeing edgy, evil.
This is what you want me to click on, Bar? Passive Aaron's writing it. I'm not a fan of him. Really?
Yeah, Warren.
I had no idea Jason
Is
Aaron
Thor blowed? Okay. Does that even
obviously
proper
he has
grammar?
You leave Warren alone. He's from
His
Kentucky.
Thor
so he had that
blue,
Kentucky
Warren.
like I did.
His Thor blowed.
Leave him alone. He went to Kentucky
late.
school.
It's out there.
I think
All
that-
right,
I feel like this is the point that we should try to give DC a little credit here, because I feel like they are in this at least trying to shake off some of their lethargy. Because I don't know, the last few years I felt like, even though there's been some perfectly enjoyable stuff, being offered, it did feel very safe. A lot of it was very safe, and this isn't quite safe. So good on you,
So
DC. for going
I
for it.
ended the poll for Absolute Batman.
Okay.
116 votes, 57% said yes, 42% said no.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask, are you excited for Absolute Wonder Woman? And I'm going to put May as an option, like BJ was excited, not that excited.
So Crisis is the ticket. Barr is president and Warren is vice president. Is that what you're saying in the chat?
I'd be the treasurer.
So, Superman, BJ, I want to. Oh, did he just? No, he's there. I thought you
I'm
walked
here.
off town. Our picture's so tiny. I want to talk for a minute about how freaking great the Superman line has been in Dawn of DC. Williamson's title, Williamson, I can be hot and cold. I feel like sometimes is very decompressed. Issues fly by. Every issue of Williamson's title from #1 has been hot. I did not love Aaron's 3 issues of Action, but I loved the whole year of Action up to that. I've loved Action after that. All of the art has been amazing. And Superman feels like he has this whole family of cool characters who like pop in and out of panel and like have their own personalities. And I love Superman as a family title. I loved it the minute that we got John back in like 16, 17, I guess 15 with conversions. And ever since then, I'm like into Superman. I don't think it's just because I'm a parent. I just think I like a version of Superman that's kind of like has a clan of people around him. BJ, I'm like a Superman stan this year. It's like at the top of my pull list.
What's crazy is I agree fully with everything you said, even to the point where I've been enjoying like just the whole Superman line more than I've been enjoying the Batman line. And that just feels like sacrilege. Like it feels like blasphemy to even say that, but that's how I feel.
You're right though, BJ. I mean, I feel like for like the last like 4, like you had like at one point 4 or 5 books with Superman, including like the black titles, and it was insane to me. Like at one point, like I'm loving Williamson's Superman, but sometimes it feels like it felt like, oh, like this is like sort of the worst book out of the bunch. But that's no like offense to Williamson's Superman because we just have a really good line of titles. And credit to DC for giving like back emphasis on the Man of Steel. Like that's been awesome.
I do wish they had kept Philip Kennedy Johnson on Action Comics though. Like that felt like the hiccup.
Why do you feel it's sacrilege for you to like the Superman line better than Batman? I mean, you're allowed to like what you like. If you're liking Superman better than Batman, that's what's going on in your world.
Yeah, no. If anyone has ever watched like the very first video on my channel, that's why. It's ironic.
What's the very first video called?
My channel intro. I think it's just called like.
I think he started out with "I love Omnidog," and so I'm going to make a channel.
There's no way anyone starts with that.
But if you go to my channel and just sort by oldest, like the first video, I was just like, oh hey, this is me. I'm going to talk about comics, blah blah blah. I love every superhero with an animated series except Superman because like that was my
Superman slander.
I always tell people that don't like Superman that there is a good Superman story out there for you. It's just a little harder to find than something like Batman. Like whenever I was doing my favorite Superman stories, like I have a harder time finding those than I did Batman or Spider-Man or X-Men or Wolverine. But not nearly as hard as it was to find my favorite like Aquaman stories without it being just Peter David's run.
There's James right with your favorite. I mean, right with your first. There it is.
There it is. James knows all. I mean, so this is, I feel like I've been on a progression here. I'm happy, Dom, you put them in this order because the Batman, I was like, who cares? Then Wonder Woman, I'm like Kelly Thompson, like Kombucha Girl, Brittany Broski, like, oh. But then this one, I'm like, I kind of get it now because I don't want to change anything about the current Superman titles. They're dope. Like they're really, really good.
What are the other Superman
I'm
titles?
kind of excited to see like a different Superman with good hair.
Hey, Greg Land did not draw that,
I've got 2 more small press releases from SDCC. James Tynan was the one who convinced Scott Snyder to do Batman again a couple of years ago on a phone call, which led up to this. And Black Mask will be the first villain of the Absolute Batman ongoing.
Okay. Well, and here's the other thing. You don't have to buy these books just because they're getting put out. If you're not into it, don't get them. I mean, if you're, like Peter and you're digging the Superman current run, just keep buying that. And just because they're put out, don't get all spun up because there's another Superman out there. If you don't want to read it, don't. Just stick with what you want to read. I'm interested to see where this all goes. So when it gets collected eventually, I'll be reading it. But I mean, just do whatever's fun for you.
How do you all feel about Lois Lane Superwoman in this?
I don't know yet.
We'll
have to read it.
It's not the first time we've seen it, but sure.
Yeah,
Why not?
I love the costume.
I mean, there's the reason why it didn't continue, though.
Well,
it's just like
it
it's not
probably won't continue here either.
It's
but-
like it's not going to continue here either, right? Like
Superwomen was a great rebirth title. I'm sorry that one stopped.
Yeah, it was good.
Oh,
It
that was
was
the one
great.
with Lois
It's
and
my
Lana,
favorite
right?
of the line.
That was a good one. Oh,
Yeah.
but like
Let me ask folks this, especially
Superman.
Lars, who we haven't heard from for a couple minutes. Like
At least.
Kelly Thompson, Jason Aaron, Scott Snyder. Is it a bummer that they're in this pocket universe and not playing in the main sandbox? Or is it more exciting that we're really talking about the biggest names in comics? It doesn't get any bigger. Also, you know, they've got like Ewing, they've got Lemire hinted in a book. These are as big as it gets.
Yeah.
Is it more exciting or less exciting that they're in their own sandbox rather than in the main sandbox?
I mean, when you give them this pocket universe thing, they get to go wild.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's best to give it to the good writers rather than the not so good writers.
That was actually directed at Lars Bar, but go ahead and talk.
no,
about
it's
it.
all
right. No, yeah, no, I know. I think it's.
I have opinions.
I know you don't get on the air very much.
No. I think it's much more exciting. If you're gonna do something like this, you have to freaking go for it, and they're going for it. They have to, and you have to put on your best talent because, frankly, some of these, you're gonna need to find a way to make it work. Superman with his power set, you're gonna need to come up with a very good reason why he's homeless. You know, a guy with those abilities shouldn't really be homeless, but if you can come up with an explanation for it, that's fine.
maybe him and Batman worked at the same factory and they both got fired. That's why.
Well, yeah.
Superman in Detroit.
I feel like that Batman could beat the Superman in an arm wrestle, though, just based off those muscles.
What happens if
When you
it's
said-
pocket-
when you asked if it's a safe bet, Peter, I think it's really cool if you're going to start off a new line. It really took Marvel took a gamble on the Ultimate Universe with Brian Michael Bendis, because Brian Michael Bendis wasn't Brian Michael Bendis before that Ultimate Universe.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, and that made him the name that he is, whether you like him or not, that he is today. Mark Miller was almost a sure bet, right? People were really digging Mark Miller back then. And then eventually, who kicked it up? Warren Ellis with Mark Miller and Brian Michael Bendis with the Ultimate Fantastic Four. But these are three stellar writers. I kind of wish the next two announcements are somebody that's like Jeremy Adams, who I've really enjoyed his stuff so far, but hasn't had a lot under his belt as far as comics. You know, animation, yes, but not in comics.
Well, he's going to stay on Green Lantern.
Yes, and I'm really happy about that because that book is so good.
It's really good. I don't even like Hal Jordan, but I love that book.
Yeah, putting these names on means putting these names on means they're taking it, you know, quite seriously. And you know, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes.
I don't know whether to believe this or not.
I hope it's true.
Absolute out privilege.
Misinfo.
Yeah. By the way, I meant to ask, when this comes out in absolute format, will it be called absolute or absolute Batman? Or
Maybe they'll name it the story arc, like Absolute Superman, the newest world. I don't know.
Why is the publisher of Mad Norwegian Books on the comic?
I'm sorry. I know this gentleman. He's just having fun.
Well, I was about to make a joke if you knew him or not.
No, it's
He also paid me an ungodly amount of money to be on the condition.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing to lead with three hot writers. You know, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter that people are like, "Oh, I hate Tom King." What matters to publishers ourselves. People can hate Tom King all they want to, but holy crap, did you all see our most wanted DC Omnibus poll? Number one came in at Tom King. Batman.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of it. And I thought I wasn't the only one. And apparently I am one of the minorities. So it doesn't matter like what people say. It's just what matters to them is the sales of these books. Now I'm going to stop the Wonder Woman poll coming in at 60% yes, 17%, I'm sorry, 18% no, and 23% meh.
The people have spoken.
Meh is a choice.
Because BJ wasn't that excited about Batman. So somebody asked, "Hey Omar, can you do what BJ said?" Like, not really excited, but not also
Meh.
There There you go. All right. Are you excited for? I'm gonna go on to the next slide. Dom, since you're here, buddy, what is this? What is the slide here?
So these are all of the creative teams, and I mean specifically in terms of the writers that are going to stay on their books and continue abroad again with both old and new visions incoming. So like I said earlier, you will still see Chip Zdarsky on Batman. You will still see G. Willow Wilson on what is going to be year 3 now, Poison Ivy, Cy Spurrier on Flash, and all these titles. And I also designated creators with asterisks that are going to be brand new artists for those ongoing titles and are joining the writers once October hits and rolls.
Give that man a promotion, Omar.
What's that, brother?
I said, give this man a promotion.
Oh, Dom?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to talk to my AHR. Then I'm gonna have to talk to my money guy. Then I'm gonna have to talk
Near
to
Mint HR. I'm sure it's what your oldest daughter.
Oh, Melody and Lydia and Alicia. I'm like, what do you guys think? You know, that downward thumb goes a long way, though. What I missed, not much. New Spooky Channel. There's a lot of bickering between Jake and Omni Dog, but I think they made up now. I think Jake bought him a milkshake or something. So what's the asterisk? The Notes new series artist debut.
Yeah, it just means like these are the current, like the writer or the artists who are taking over for the books that they're on. All the other ones that don't are continuing to draw the title, like Jorge Jimenez is still going to be the flagship Batman artist, etc.
Okay.
Peter,
So
have you been
I have
able
to
to
say-
read Power Girl at all?
I haven't loved, probably of this list, Power Girl is probably my least favorite of the
Okay.
titles.
Because
But I was going
one-
to say, we're talking so much about the writers in absolute. And I mean, how can you not, right? They're all these like Eisner winning,
Yeah.
Eisner nominated writers. This artist lineup on the regular DC, this is a killer's row. Look at these artists. They're some of the best artists working. If you've been reading Green Lantern, not my favorite comic book, but Zermatico's art on Green Lantern has been next level. Love it. Every panel has been gorgeous. I mean, Sam Perry on Wonder Woman, peerless. Even as I'm Batman, I stop and want to just frame every panel. I've loved Emanuela Lupacchino ever since she did Starfire. I mean, this is a killer artist lineup. I think is the kind of like buried news here.
Marcio Takara deserves the absolute treatment for that art.
Come on.
That art is so beautiful.
I mean, unfortunately, he's been missing for a lot of the recent issues on Poison
Yeah,
Ivy.
I was worried that they were going to pull him to do something else. Which one of these titles is your favorite title then, Peter? Are you a Flash guy by Cy Spurrier?
I love how friggin' weird Cy Spurrier's Flash is, but I mean,
Yeah.
Poison Ivy just, I love Poison Ivy.
Oh, yeah.
Of course,
love
Birds
you,
of Prey,
Peter.
Kelly Thompson. And I'm a Chip Zdarsky Batman apologist, but let's go down the line. Bar, what's your favorite? I wonder.
Here we go, Bar. You wanted me to click on comments. None of them.
Superman.
Oh.
I'm not even. I don't think I've
You
read
are a
Superman.
damn liar. No one believes you.
Poison Ivy, Birds of Prey. How shocking is that? Honestly, I'm not reading many of these. And Wonder Woman, though I have my complaints about that book, but I think first of all, that art is just chef's kiss. I wish we got to see a little more space of it on the page, but yeah, it's beautiful.
Okay.
Tom, what's your favorite on the list?
Probably Birds of Prey.
Lars.
I always enjoy Cy Spurrier because even the occasional issue they do that doesn't work, it's always interesting.
Jake.
My favorite has been the Batman Superman World's Finest. It's just been the most accessible and just the quintessence of what I like about those characters together. But I don't know this new artist that well, and I've loved Dan Moore's art on it. So hopefully this new artist is just as good.
I love his art on Blue Beetle with what's his name? I'm blanking on it.
Just the fact you pulled Blue Beetle is amazing.
Comes
Is
out
it
in English
the last
and
Blue
Spanish.
Beetle story? The blue and gold?
No. The most
Graduation
recent
Day?
ongoing Blue Beetle. What's his name? It's slipping my mind.
Jaime Reyes? Like
Yeah.
that character?
Uh,
It was like graduation day or something, right?
Keith Giffen did that, and then the last one.
no, because he's had a series for the last couple of.
Yeah, so it was like issue 12 or 13. It was done in DC. Spinning out of the graduation series.
Yeah, Josh Truillo.
Wait, we
Josh
got breaking
Truillo's,
news
most
incoming.
recent
So
Blue
we-
Beetle title.
So
What's
we gotta
the
get
breaking
through the
news?
list. Ani Dog, what's your favorite on the list?
I haven't read some of these. Of the ones I've read, Wonder Woman, Poison Ivy, Birds. I haven't read Birds of Prey yet. Probably Poison Ivy, but I love Chip Zdarsky's Batman, and I've loved World's Finest. I don't think I've read the others. I've definitely not read Shazam. I haven't caught up on the others yet.
Most of these have trades already, Jess. With
Yeah,
the
I just got the trade for Wonder Woman, and I've liked a lot what I've read so far, but I haven't read it all yet.
Okay.
All right, BJ, because we have breaking news. But first, importantly, BJ, what is your favorite one on this list ongoing?
Like speculatively or
No,
as it
that you've been
stands?
reading and loving.
Oh, yeah, it's probably between Superman and Green Lantern. The whole Trinity is great. Yeah,
It's a good way to put it. The Trinity is really good.
Well, Wonder Woman's spotty, but the Trinity's been fine. Green Lantern's like 1A, 1B with Superman for me.
Mm-hmm. It looks so good. All right, Omar, what's your favorite that you've been catching up on before we break this news?
Brightest Day, Blackest Night, baby, Green Lantern. It was awesome. It blew me away, man. It might be one of my favorite reads this year.
It's really good.
I thought you were about to recite the entire Oath of the Green
thought so
Lantern.
too.
No. All right. What's the breaking news, Peter?
The chat is aflame with news of our next Absolute book. It is Absolute Flash by Jeff Lemire and Nick Robles.
Make it slide, Dom.
I'll make a slide and tell you to refresh it ASAP. 'cause
Dude, Dom is good. I bet he can do it. Absolute Flash. Lemire. We were just talking about Lemire, how he
Flash
normally
joins
would
a
have been there.
hockey team.
Oh,
Flash moves to Canada.
oh, I forgot you also hate Jeff Lemire. I forgot. Yeah, you're not excited at all.
I love Nick Robles though. I'm like a Nick Robles super fan.
Great artist. All right, I'm gonna go to the next slide really quick while Dom is working his butt off. So these are the new creative teams who have Action Comics. Mark Waid coming back to write Superman with Clayton Henry, who I haven't seen at DC for a while.
No.
He used to do Exiles, and then he went over to do some Valiant books like Ninjak. I actually really dig his art, and I think he's the perfect fit for Superman because he draws everybody with a big jaw. Like his dudes are usually have big jaws. Action Comics backups are done by Mariko Tamaki and Skylar Patridge. Detective Comics, we knew about this because of Twitter. Catwoman and Mikhail Janin, Tom Taylor and Mikhail Janin, not Catwoman. Who is a phenomenal artist. Mikhail worked on Tom King's Batman and Super Sexy Grayson. Would you agree, Bar? Do you like Mikhail's art?
I can't say I know much of their art.
Okay.
I'll need to see more of it.
Okay. Well, you will be.
Yeah, you'll love it.
Woman by my buddy Tarun Grumbeck and Fabiana Mascolo. She has been super excited about this, by the way. And she emailed me saying that it looks like people are already trying to cancel me, saying my Catwoman is going to be nothing but a romance novel between Batman and Catwoman. And then somebody else said this book is stupid because it's not going to be a romance book between Batman and Catwoman. And I was like, the internet is angry at you? She's like, I haven't even said what I was going to do yet. Harley Quinn by a Bar's favorite writer on The Daily Show, Elliot Kalan and Mindy Lee. Nightwing by Dan Waters and Dexter Soy. Titans by John Layman and Pete Woods. So glad to see Pete Woods back on art. Green Arrow by Chris Condon and Montos. I'm not familiar with Montos. Anybody?
Yeah, he was doing the art for
a
Green
War
Lantern.
Journal.
Yeah.
One more time.
Go
I
ahead.
guess it's me. All right. Montos is doing art on Green Lantern War Journal, the John Stewart book.
Oh, the John Stewart book. Okay.
Ooh, that has looked good.
and
Chris,
Green
I
Lantern
just
Civil
want
War.
to say how great Chris Condon has been writing crime books on that Texas Blood. So I'm excited to see him on Green Arrow.
Oh, he did that Texas Blood?
Yeah.
That was a good book. Green Lantern
Yeah.
Civil Corp special. Philip Kennedy Johnson and Salvador La Roca. And then Batman and Robin by Philip Kennedy Johnson and Javier Fernandez.
Omar, if you refresh the slides, I did just add a brand new or three brand new slides in. We will be reviewing next couple.
You added 3 new slides?
Right, 3 new slides.
Are they at the end after this one?
There's one brand new one, like right sort of after the continuing issues, and then 2 of them are at the end with the Justice League review.
Okay, I see it now. Let me go to slideshow mode.
Don was probably live streaming on his own channel while he was making the slides while he was here on the channel.
You're crazy. Okay. And we talked about the new creative teams. Let me make sure. Let's go back. What is the one book you all are most excited for? And anybody in the chat, I can't make a poll because the poll only makes me go 5 choices. So please type in what you're most excited for. If you're not excited for any of these, by all means, write none. What about my panel? Bar, what's the book you're most excited for?
None, honestly.
I
I'm
knew
not
that
excited.
was the answer coming. I knew.
Are you serious? None of these books.
He doesn't read anything, but you're not excited for Catwoman by Torun Grunbeck?
I honestly
great.
am not a big Catwoman reader. Maybe this will be one of my first.
This'll-
I've read
this'll be
Catwoman in Gotham City Sirens and a few in the Batman books, but I've not read yet anything. Oh, and Lonely City. Other than that, I've not really read Catwoman.
Okay.
I guess because out of the Trinity of Gotham City Sirens, she's the least, the one that I found interesting the least. But I might check this out to see how Torrin is doing in this book. But yeah, I'm not excited about Harley, which breaks my heart. It's been a few years since I've been excited about a Harley series, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, maybe the writer
The
got
unimpressible
better.
Bar.
Maybe the writer got better.
I mean, I don't know. I'll give it a shot. I mean, I will still read issue number 1, but I can't say that I'm excited for it. I'm cautiously cautious.
You gotta give it a few issues though. Don't just decide after issue 1. Like stick with it for a little bit.
Dom, what about you, my
for
friend?
me, I'm more judging not based on the story, but more based on how I see that the writer is writing Harley's characteristics, because I have very specific pet peeves about how some writers write her, and I've seen those pet peeves in what he wrote her previously. And so if I see that in this, and I saw it a lot in the Teenie Howard series, surprisingly, Stephanie Phillips actually managed to avoid a lot of that stuff for like 75% of the series.
Bar does not like female characters nor female writers. Got it.
Bar doesn't like books.
But yeah, so for me, one issue is enough to determine if this writer knows how to write Harley well enough for me to enjoy it, at least.
All right, Dom, what about you, my friend? What are you most excited for from
So
this?
James, if you're in the chat right now, if you could kindly link my top 10 most anticipated, but a spoiler, my number 1 did end up being the Action Comics backups with Mariko Tamaki and Skylar Patridge.
Whoa, really? That's
Hot
interesting.
take.
That is that is not what I would have thought.
Yeah, not what you expect at all, would it?
Not from you, no.
What
What about
skip the backups when I'm reading comics sometimes? I feel like if it's like a separate story, I'll go back to it.
It's too much value for Jake. Get that value out of there.
I just like to binge the story that I'm reading. When it's like
Hey, I
separate
paid
characters.
$5 for this comic. I only want to read 10 pages. Lars, what about you, my friend? What are you most excited for? He's speechless.
Yes, I was. I'm sorry. I was uniquely stunned into silence there. No, I have been sitting here quietly embarrassed because there's quite a few of these titles that I've not been reading. The thing, my reading habits is I tend to let some titles kind of bank, and then I read them. I don't always have time to read, every single issue that comes out. But what I'm looking forward to, listening to all of you, is actually the current run of Green Lantern. If it's as good as you say, then I'm like, hey, I'll give this a shot. And also, looking at the list, Tom King's Wonder Woman, I was like, oh, that is probably at the point that it's banked enough that I should read it now.
There is a trade available already. If you
Okay.
want.
Okay. Well,
But what about these new teams?
Well,
Lars?
I've
is there
these-
anybody on
yeah,
this
I-
list that you're like, ooh?
yeah,
That was the previous slide.
I mean, yeah, this is the thing. I don't know because all we have here is a list of just names.
Right.
and
So go
titles.
for creator. Like what
Yeah,
creator are you
Lars
gravitating?
is still buffering from the last.
I'm so actually, you know what? I've always enjoyed John Layman, Titans. I guess I'd vote for Titans because I do enjoy John Layman's work.
John Layman, interesting. Okay, I do love that art too. Pete Woods is amazing. Jake, what about you?
So I don't know the creative team that well, but Nightwing is my favorite character, and I loved all the Tom Taylor stuff. But I'm also excited for a new interpretation of the character. So that's probably the one that I'm going to read first.
Dexter Soy is amazing. So
He is.
I do like Dexter Sword.
Red Hood and the Outlaws, Batman and the Outsiders.
And
I like Red Hood
Dan
and the Outlaws.
Waters has written. Didn't he do an Azrael book?
He did an Azrael
He
book.
did.
He
Lucifer
did. An,
for the DC Presents. He's done some really
Lucifer?
cool stuff for Vault.
he did the
Um,
Arkham City miniseries that came out a year
That's
and
it,
some
yeah.
change ago.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see where it goes. I mean, we'll see. It can't be
I'm very
worse.
excited for that book.
I'm going to
too.
give it one issue, and if it doesn't impress me in one issue, I'm not reading it
I'm
anymore.
giving it one
Wow.
panel.
Yeah,
You're
wow.
quitting comic. One
Wow.
I'm
issue,
giving
you're
it the
quitting
cover,
comic.
just the cover.
I hope it doesn't have a backup story. All right, Peter.
Am
what
I
about
the
you?
only one who skips backup stories sometimes if you're in the
Yeah.
middle?
No,
of, like, a
if I'm
game?
if I have a run,
I
if I've waited a
always
couple months, I'll read the
skip
first
it.
stories and then read the backup
Yeah.
stories.
It's just
Yeah.
I
like
don't
it
read
breaks
the
up, it breaks
backups
up the
usually.
Okay, I feel like everyone was judging me, and now it comes out that I'm not
We
for
are.
everyone.
I
Oh,
don't read
everybody's
backups at all.
Oh my gosh.
Heck yeah, that's my people right there.
All right, Peter. What about you? No Greg Land on artwork, so this is a tough one for you.
You know, I really like Dan Waters, but he's like he swings big and he's hit or miss. I have been obsessed with some of his books. I loved him on Lucifer. It was like a must read, top of pile every month. Some of his indie stuff I thought just does not click for me at all. So especially coming after one of the best Nightwing runs of all time from Tom Taylor, in my opinion. I'm just really interested in what Dan Waters does. It's not going to be the same. He's going to take it. It's going to be perpendicular, I am sure. That said, knowing what I know about these creators, of course I'm excited for Trun Grombach writing Catwoman, because it's
Okay.
Catwoman. I just feel like we get stuck with the same Catwoman book so often. Like she's the little crime thing, it's a big crime thing. She's stealing this, she's still not. I'm not saying that Catwoman like shouldn't steal things, but it just feels like the character hasn't really gone anywhere since 2018. A little bit, but I never feel like the book has been static for 60 issues. So I'm really interested to see if Trun Grombach can like energize it and make me like feel something about Selena again.
Can we get a poll to see if the audience reads backup issues?
Sure, here in a minute. But first, let's stay on target.
Peter, have you read Chew?
I don't like John Layman that much.
Oh, okay.
I think he's fine. I don't have like a vendetta against him like I do about Slum King. I've never been really excited about Layman.
I think Chew is wonderful, but probably him being on Titans won't be that nuts. So
Omnidog, you, my friend.
I love all these creators, so I'm looking forward to all of them. But I think Green Arrow by Chris Condon, I'm interested to see how he handles Green Arrow. Bunk was jamming me up because I forgot to mention the Enfield Gang Massacre, which he also wrote with This Texas Blood. But I've loved all of This Texas Blood, the books, and I'm excited to see what he does for Green Arrow. And I'm glad he's getting his shot at a Big Two title.
Okay. BJ, what about you, buddy? What are you most excited for? What one book?
What one book? Probably Philip Kennedy Johnson on Batman and Robin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Philip Kennedy Johnson on Batman and Robin.
What about you, Omar?
I am the opposite of Peter. I really like John Layman. Now, the right answer is Trun Grombach. You can clip this, James. Of course, I'm really excited for Trun Grombach to be writing Catwoman. Now, don't tell her, though.
I said the wrong book.
I am super excited for Titans by John Layman and Pete Woods. I love Pete Woods. I think he's one of my favorite artists. He's grown on me over the years. And I really like what John Lehman did. Not just like because he did do some DC stuff, but I really like Chew like a lot. But that's my answer.
Oh, by the way, Omar, I know the person in the chat earlier, not anything to do with this, but they were talking about how Alfred had like an MI6, and
that real?
all that stuff. It's apparently real. I'm looking at
It's on the
panel right
books.
now.
Is it really?
It's actually real.
Where's the slide?
Does
I'll
it
make-
show him
I will add
getting
it
his
after we talk
neurosurgery
about-
degree?
Hold on a second. I'm gonna. Dom asked me to go ahead and refresh this, and then I can share a new slide. I'll let him present for a second. While I make a quick phone call, just making sure everything's okay on my dad's end. Dom, I'm gonna. Can you control it, Dom? You should be able to.
Let me see if I can present the slides from.
I'm gonna add it, and you should be able to control it from like down here. I think. Yeah, maybe. If not, you can. You want me to go to the next slide?
You know what? I'll present.
Okay.
On my
Here.
end.
Let me remove this then, and you can present.
All
While
right.
Tom's getting ready to present, our poll concluded an absolute Superman. Not a lot of excitement about that compared to the other ones. Only 49% yes on Jason
you.
Aaron's Are You Excited for Absolute Superman? 27% meh, 22% no. So a lot
half
of
are
undecideds
excited.
out there.
It's the one
About
I'm
half
most
are
nervous
excited.
about. Like,
We're excited, and over a quarter are in the middle.
Dom, what are we looking at, buddy? What is this? All
This
right.
is the cover reveal for Absolute Flash by Jeff Lemire and Nick Robles. This is the teaser. We know nothing else about this, but this is what we do have for the specific title. We unfortunately don't know anything, like I said.
can we guess what we think they're taking away from him?
Yeah.
So that is it for that. So we got the first brand new creative team. This is Action Comics 1070 to 1073, sort of part of the Superman Superstars, if you want to call it, branding that they've been doing since PKJ got off Action, where different creative teams and superstar writers get to take over and do a little bit of cool stuff on Superman. We had Jason Aaron earlier in the year. We have Gail Simone currently doing Action Comics, and now Mark Waid is taking over the title, and it will be a weekly. So this will span from October the 9th to the 30th. So 4 issues in that time frame. But Mark Waid is joined by Clayton Henry to do Superman here.
We could have just done a trade. Did I need 4 issues of this in a month?
Because
That's
I
what
think
they're doing, right?
Well, yeah,
kind of just like pumping out a
Lecter's doing
trade.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta have trade, right? Like, what's Wizard Magazine gonna do with like the value of these comics if they don't have these comics?
Tank it immediately. But there's 87 variant covers, so that'll make up for it.
You wish. All right, tell me about the backups. Let's go through these slides, Dom.
Yes. The backups will be starred by Mariko Tamaki and Skylar Patridge, who recently did the Supergirl special, the first time that Kara's had sort of her own one-shot since 2020. Feels like a long time since we've gotten anything Supergirl related, but in the backups of said issues 1070 to 1073, we are going to get these two to do a Supergirl story that rumors are will hopefully turn into a Supergirl book sometime next year, apparently.
Yeah, you'd think they'd capitalize off the fact that she's going to have her own movie soon, and the hype around it.
Because it does feel weird that we have a Power Girl book but no Supergirl book.
Yeah,
If at
and
all.
now
They just gave us
Superwoman
the
is
deluxe-
also
They just
joining.
gave us the deluxe edition of the Supergirl book that they're basing the movie off of, so that
Yeah.
they're investing in it a little bit.
Yeah.
If these Supergirl backups are in that Mark Waid action, that actually might jump up my list of anticipated books.
These are.
Yeah.
These are.
Yeah, they're all going to be split around. It's going to be a 4-part story, just like the Mark Waid, Clayton Henry issues are going to be a 4-part story as well. And as part of the initiative as well, Mark Waid and Mariko Tamaki will be off after issue 1073. New creative team should be taking a foothold come November on issue 1074. I think the most recent we've had something like this with was with Detective Comics when they had their own weekly for like 2 to 3 months. Was that 2 years ago?
All Tamaki. That was
all Tamaki
and Rosenberg on backups.
Mm-hmm. So this feels like a truncated version of that.
Well, and also
Thank
harking
God.
back to Action Comics Weekly from like 1988 when Superman was the lead story and also Green Lantern, and then it had rotating backup stories. We probably couldn't support an anthology title quite like that, although they tend to do it on the Batman line. But it's kind of like, okay, well, we'll let all these big creators have a shot on Superman, and then, you know, back with backups. Those good Steel backups last year. Power Girl launched out of these backups. They had some Dreamer backups that then kind of turned into Dreamers miniseries. So I like when DC does this. I mean, Jake will never know that it's happening, but DC kind of teases what the upcoming title is going to be in the backups of Action. That's how they've broadened the Superman line. I think that's a good way to do it.
I say I'm gonna go back and read them after I read the main story, but then I forget.
I will say,
So you don't read them.
Right.
Book
Yeah.
down.
Okay.
when you read Ram V's Detective Comics, you need to read those backups at the same time. They really weave
they're
in
very
and out
threaded.
of the
They
main
are.
story. Yeah.
I felt that with the War World storyline. I just read through all that, and I felt like those backups I actually had to read.
Yeah.
I skimmed them.
Let's go to the next slide. Dom, it's the Detective Comics. This is the Tom
So-
Taylor, Mikhail
Yes.
Gannon.
So right off the presses off of Nightwing after 50 issues, and also Titan, surprisingly, after 15 issues, Tom Taylor is taking over the title of Detective Comics right off of the heat of Ram V and everyone else who has supported and created on that title. They're taking over on issue 1090. Mikhail Yannin, who was drawing the absolute debacle that is the current JSA run, will be joining him for illustrations.
The what now?
I'm partly mad. I made a video on the delays of the JSA title, which apparently, like, if you add all of them up from issues 1 to 12, it's a span of 3 years worth of delays, which is absolutely insane. That's all I'm saying. It's nothing to do with the book.
That's not as bad as Captain America.
But wait till it's collected.
Captain America
when you
White
just read-
was 8 years.
Good thing you never read Planetary back in the day.
Oh my god, that was awful.
The
If your
last
book's-
Ronin took like 2 years to come out, and it was 5 issues.
And sometimes if your book's really special, it never gets finished, you know?
Like,
Or it's
I'm
a-
waiting on Graham
like
Morrison
absolute-
to
or it's a backup.
Issue 2. All right, next Nightwing. Dan Waters, Dexter Soy.
Nightwing by Dan Waters and Dexter Sory. They will take over after Tom Taylor, Bruno Redondo, and everyone else who has written and drawn for the title. Seemingly brand new status quo. Dan Waters has been doing a lot of the Detective Comics backups for those specific issues, including a couple of one-offs in 1085 and 1089, I want to say, as far as Waters is concerned. And Dexter Soy is no stranger to Gotham as well, as he's drawn Batman, Nightwing, Red Hood multiple times. So this is a familiar creative team on this title.
I like
Have
that
they
picture.
said yet, though, if we're going to keep getting thirsty Nightwing covers, like variant covers like we got currently? Because that was a nice treat.
Jake needs his treats.
for
DC.
Jake? Okay, Jake needs treats. Instead of shakes, now you know what to send him. Call me dog.
Priorities.
Next, Dom. Yes, sir.
Is none other than Titans. So after 15 issues, Tom Taylor is, again, surprisingly leaving the book after the Trigon arc, another brand new status quo. Rumors are that the Titans will have more of a Starfire focus, but in that we're also getting a rotating team every couple of arcs or issues or so, just because there are so many members. Pete Woods will be joining Chew writer John Layman on this brand new status quo for the Titans.
They are really not going back to the bow and arrow days of Speedy, are they?
No.
I don't think so. All right.
I'm like a little bummed on this just because Titans started so hot. Beast World was so big, and I really felt like we were building up to something bigger. And like, I know the Trigon stuff has been good, but I don't know. I guess I was just really excited for Taylor to like really sink his teeth in and give us like a multi-year arc where things like really happened and changed for these characters in the way that he did on Nightwing. So I'm just like sad. I'm like grieving that it only was 15 issues.
I think DC kind of failed him with this idea that the Titans were the premier team, and then nothing super consequential was happening in that book.
Yeah. Well, Peter, if you're grieving, you do look good in black, so it's okay.
Oh, should change.
All right. Next, Dom.
Next up is a friend of the channel, Torun Grombeck, taking over Selena Kyle and her new status quo in this
issue 69. That's very appropriate for Torun.
Nice.
Is that Halle Berry?
She has been putting pictures on social media, so that's interesting. Where did Peter and Jake go? They both left at the same time. Okay,
I guess OmniDog also isn't here.
OmniDog also. Okay, everybody's bored with the stream. All right, Catwoman 69.
Is that a new design?
Did you? Crisis actually switched to the switching clothing in the middle of it. That's funny.
Is that a new design, or is this something that existed in her series for a while?
Oh no, this is a brand new design, like brand new costume, brand new, seemingly everything.
It seems very inspired by Power Girl.
This one? Oh, because of the chest window? But no, it's not a chest window. She's wearing like a little jacket. Like it's kind of
it's like a bolero.
Not really cold. Yeah. Yes. All right.
Completely.
Next up is Bar's favorite.
Next
Harley
up
Quinn,
is former Daily Show writer Elliot Kalan taking over the Clown Prince S of Gotham. Is that what they're calling it?
Prince S.
Prince S of Genovia.
of Gotham. On issue 44, Mindy Lee is taking over the art. She did some art, as far as I recall, for some Harley Quinn issues from the same ongoing. And yeah, this will be the brand new status quo for Harley Quinn post Teenie Howard.
I will say, at least Harley usually gets good art on her series. At least that.
Like Riley
Did
Ross.
you like the end of the Rebirth Harley that was like Sam Basri on art?
No,
and
I
no?
also stopped reading that one.
Oh, see, I like that.
Dom, your screen is still being shared. It's a good thing you're not on your website. That would have been. It's a good thing OmniDog was not sharing his other screen.
Dom also hosting the live chat on Discord about this stream while making the slides.
What the hell is happening? All right, Dom.
My bad, guys. I'm so sorry.
Next up, buddy.
Green Arrow is returning to legacy numbering with issue 350. This will also be Joshua Williamson's last issue of Green Arrow. Chris Condon, who wrote, like as just mentioned, wrote That Texas Blood. And Montos, like BJ mentioned, who drew Green Lantern John Stewart War Journal, will be joining him as the new Oliver creative team and status quo.
Thank you for that, and Green Lantern Corps.
And yes, this is a Civil Corps one shot. Philip Kennedy Johnson is spearheading it with Salvador LaRocca on art to continue the threads of where Jeremy Adams was and is on Green Lantern.
When did Sinestro get the red ring?
That
gotta read the next trade, bro.
Didn't that happen earlier in the Jeremy Adams run?
He has it in an absolute power.
He didn't have it in the first trade, so I guess it happened.
We accidentally spoiled the series for Omar.
That's
Nice.
okay. It's
Way to
coming.
go.
I appreciate it. I'm gonna spoil the crap out of Deadpool and Wolverine for Jess.
No.
You are not. I'm turning my phone off for the next.
I'm gonna
5
call
days.
you while I'm in the. I'm gonna be that guy in the theater, dude. You're never gonna believe who showed up.
I'm excited about this because we've been getting like some of the core in Jeremy Adams' run and a little bit more of the core in the Kennedy Johnson run. So smash it all together. Give me a Green Lantern book with the whole core in it and just one title I got to follow. I'm down with that.
Just call it the Green Lantern Corps, right? Yeah,
right.
They've done it before.
Yeah.
All right, next, Dom, because I gotta. Oh, it is crunch time. I gotta get going soon. Batman and Robin 14. This is Philip Kennedy Johnson taking over this series, right?
Yep, Philip Kennedy Johnson will be taking over the series with Javier Fernandez. Javier Fernandez, no stranger
Looks
to
like it has
Damian
the
Wayne
same
as a
plot
character.
as the Green Lantern book.
Oh, that's
What's that,
crazy.
buddy?
It's a nice crossover.
It has the same plot as the Green Lantern
Oh
book.
man, I forgot to change the solicit text.
Damn it, Dom, that's strike one. And strike two, because Tommy Dog got it before I did.
No, I did wonder about
Never
that.
mind that it's like the
there's
most
so much- there's
beautiful
so much-
presentation we've ever had.
Never
on
mind
any of
that.
the streams.
But there goes that promotion.
Pollination these days. I thought, well, maybe it's possible.
That promotion just went out the window.
Oh no.
This book, I'll say, I like Williamson, and I'm a little bit of a Williamson apologist, but this book has been dragging for me. Just like Damien in high school and Shush it's just been so draggy and slow. And so I am not a great lover of Philip Kennedy Johnson. I do like when he does stuff with families and kids, though. I think actually that's his secret strength, not the like hard-bitten war stuff. So I'm actually kind of curious to see what PKJ does with Damien on a book. And I'm just not enjoying this title that much right now. So I'm ready for a change.
I agree with Peter because a lot of the pacing has been off, where sometimes we get a couple of issues where there's like 1, 2, or 3 Simone DeMeo spread pages when I feel like you could be telling a lot more story in those pages, which has led to the title being this like weird imbalance of the superheroing of Bruce and Damien against White Rabbit, and then also Damien's regular life. So I'm actually very excited for the creative change.
All right, and next up is Batman and Robin Year 1. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Chris Samney teaming back up with Mark Waid. They did a phenomenal run on Black Widow, but it's also a Year 1 book, which I have loved I don't know if I can pick a favorite one. Nightwing, Robin, Batgirl,
Superman,
Batman.
Definitely not
Superman. One big Superman.
Can we just skip to the absolute on this? Like this, I
Yeah.
need.
Yeah, I need Chris Samney in absolute. I'm with
Yeah.
you, BJ.
Have Wade and
Agreed.
Semney worked together on a DC title before?
No,
No, not
I don't think so.
which is
No.
surprising.
But they've been friends for a long time, and this
I
I'm
love
sure
her.
it's been a long time coming. Just getting Mark
Yeah.
back at DC. Super excited for this one. So excited for this.
Yeah, Mark said that he said that the character that he hasn't gotten to write as much as he's wanted to, and that that has the most to say, was Dick Grayson. And so in that case, I'm very excited to see what's going to be up with that and what they're going to bring for Batman and Robin.
And next up on the slide, Dome, is
Next up, these are
who
other
else is
creators.
all in?
These are other creators. I guess we got the Nick Robles announcement, but we still Ram V and John Lindsay on Twitter mentioned that they were also all in. Their books have not been announced yet.
And Lemire. There's definitely. Oh no, we got Lemire. Flash.
We got Lemire.
Ewing. And Dennis Camp supposedly is going to be in rumors. Whispers
Is that
in the
rumors or is
willows.
that their tweets?
Dennis Campus, Ultimate and
These are
Absolute?
tweets. Dom would not let me shoehorn in any rumors. He said only the facts. Crisis.
That's what Omar told me. That's what he said the objective of this channel was. So
That's only because he knows you're a shameless gossip monger. So you know.
Thank you for throwing me under the bus, though. I did say that. I do make up a lot of rules on the spot, though. You never know what I'm going to make up. All right, Dom, next.
next
Por
slide are
favor.
a couple of new slides that I had to make up on the fly. The first are DC image thread links to the brand new Justice League Unlimited book by Mark Waid and Dan Mora. And here are the Watchtower concepts created by Dan that they showed at SDCC.
I just want to
Damn.
shout out
How does
those
Dom
covers by Edwin Galman, who I put on my top 5 list of cover artists weeks ago. You're welcome.
He's solid, man. How in the world does Dan Mora have enough time to be this good?
You're talking about Dan Mora, but Mark Waid is in like half of this series.
No, Mark Waid. I have seen Mark Waid write 4 or 5 monthly titles. I'm used to that man being a machine. How does Dan Mora accomplish being this good and do 2 titles a month usually? That's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like,
And keep up the quality.
Wow. All right, let's get
So unlimited, interesting branding.
I think
put that up.
I think we all know the answer to that question.
Was that the last? Was that the
Yeah,
last?
if you
slide?
give me a couple of minutes, Omar, I will show the chat the absolute Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman ones.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just need to
So I'm going to
finish.
give everybody a tease that's still here. I know this is usually the Marvel solicitations. So I wanted to show you just a little bit of what's to come. It's not an omnibus, and I don't think. And let me know if this has been announced, and I'll look at something else. But this is what. Yeah, let's do this. So we are looking at the Doom Treasury Edition by Jonathan Hickman and Andy Stevenson, Sanford Green, Gillian, by the way, and Steve Epting. So it does collect not just Doom, the one shot, but also Fantastic Four 583 and Runaways, the 2015 series, issue number 1.
That book is so good.
It is oversized, by the way, so it will be big.
Treasury edition, nice.
Yeah. So thank you all for sticking around. And then in this next solicitations that we're doing, Peter, there will be 2 gallery editions. One I think got leaked out, but that's okay. And then the next one is one I've been hinting at for a while. If you watch my videos, so I'm pretty excited for that one. Oh shit, I'm not sharing my screen anymore. Right? I'm going through the solicit. I haven't announced that yet. All right, Jake is back just in time to say goodbye.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't miss it. Did people stick around and watch after I was gone? Because I know I bring in probably the lion's share of the crowd.
Your mom was still in the chat. She was like, "Mom, this got more interesting." Dan Mora draws fast. Mark Waid. Then that Dan will send him 2 pages of art with new ideas. He's a machine. That is crazy.
So that they call him crazy, Dan Mora and not Dan Lesser, right, Omnibo?
Hashtag bring back Barb. You want her back? You can have her, buddy. She's all yours. Her and the new Harley Quinn book. Excited for that Wade Samney venture. Kenny Omega all in. Let me know when you're ready to share that, Dom, and we will share that. And then
give me 2 minutes. I have 2 minutes.
All right, bro. All right.
Can we start the timer?
It is awesome, and I do not make that man work.
Omar's car is running in the driveway.
And my wife's honking the horn. Like, where? No, I'm just kidding. I said 5:30, and she said, "Okay."
Just take the laptop. You stay on stream while you're at Deadpool.
I think I did that, dude. Do you remember when I did the stream? No, I didn't do the stream. I was really drunk in Spain, Jess, and I crashed the Omnidog or the Omnibros stream.
You were, with a bunch of. You were in the Basque region of Spain, and
I didn't know any of those people.
You didn't even speak the language, and you had already made friends with like 5 guys out in the alley where you were laughing your ass off.
I couldn't even speak Basque. I speak Spanish.
But you were drinking with them, and it was hilarious.
Drinking the universal language.
Yeah,
that was awesome. And I crashed the Omnibros stream.
It was great.
You were like, dude, did you get kidnapped?
It was in an alley. I was worried about you.
Yeah,
I know. I heard what happened to Batman's parents in an alley.
Yeah, crime alley in Bass.
Not absolute Batman. We don't know for sure. I'm going in 3 hours. Pumped. Yeah, I am too. I have managed to stay away from every spoiler because I haven't been on social media.
It's so good.
Shut up, Bart. I will ban you for life.
Regular near mint condition super chatter Felix saw it in Australia last night, and before he even left the theater, I was like, I want a text with every cameo.
This is a warning to everyone in the chat. Stay away from the internet. There is every minute of this movie. Every minute of this movie can be a spoiler. Like there are so many shocking moments.
When did you see it,
Don't
Bart?
go on the internet.
Did you go to the premiere with Ryan Reynolds?
I just got back from it. Like 10 minutes. I had 10 minutes from when I got home to when I started this.
She actually left early. She didn't finish the movie for this stream.
You had.
She treated it like a backup in a comic.
Well, yeah.
We got 10 minutes to get ready to hate on Harley Quinn and Catwoman. Got it.
Dom and I were
All
talking.
right, guys. Let me go ahead and share.
Let me get the super chat. Love this DC special show. Also, we need more Bar on NMC. Well, I think she has a contract with Omnidog's Vault, but you know,
That's right.
we may have. Okay, Absolute Batman. This is what they were showing at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, that the Alfred MI6 was actually legitimately.
real.
That's a legit thing. Edgy. Okay.
Wow.
Of course, in the
It looks
pages
kind of like
Chris
Raish a
Snyder's
little bit with that
real
beard.
He
Kinda
does.
reminds me a little of like Tokyo Ghost, the character
Yeah.
design of Tokyo
Hmm.
Ghost.
Rock
I
and Apple looks like he's
kind
got
of
a
dig
bit.
big chunky Big Daddy Batman, and it's kind of growing on me.
Oh, I don't have any complaints.
Bruce, look at those arms, man.
Tree
Been
trunks.
putting in the work. It's
Yeah. And that's the Black Mask design.
That is a Black Mask design.
It's an interesting design for that. Not
It's a lot
much
of
mask,
people-
but so
Yeah, it's a lot of the designs kind of like in Dragado's Ghost Cage series that he did for Image. It's a lot
Yeah,
of
I
the
can see that.
Yeah, imagery.
Mm.
We can see here. And this is what we got for Absolute Superman and Wonder Woman, including a teaser for what is issue 2 on the bottom right-hand corner. That is the Hayden Sherman designs for
Dude,
Wonder Woman.
Hayden Sherman is killing it. That is gorgeous.
That looks really cool.
Sword is
I'm
so
getting kinda
badass.
hyped there.
Oh,
It's like
she
a
got
cloud
magic
Final
sword,
Fantasy
soul
VII
sword.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's got like the what's it called, the Buster Sword, right, or Guts Sword from Berserk. Okay, now I'm a little, and she's got a tattoo. Let me tell you something. It doesn't take that much for me to get excited. Give me a tattoo and a big sword, baby.
And I mean, she's
Oh, I
literally drawing my hair. Look at that.
It's
Almost.
And the Superman is that's the same image that Sandoval did, right? The one on the left hand side.
Yeah, one on the left is Sandoval, and the bottom right is the cover for issue 2.
Have we all said which absolute story we're most excited for?
We did. You even
Okay.
said that. You were excited. You did. You were there, Jake.
No, it didn't.
I don't think we did. We said which all-in storyline that was
No,
currently
like
ongoing
from
or
Batman,
new.
Superman,
Oh,
and Wonder Woman.
between the 4 of them with Jeff Lemire now writing.
Yeah.
House of
Yeah,
Flesh?
yeah.
Sure. All right, round table. That'd be the last question. And
Look at
anybody?
them coming
That
at
could
me,
be Paul.
coming at me.
4 options.
All right, Bar.
Wait, did we do the Justice League Unlimited thing yet? Did I miss that?
Yeah,
You
you
missed
missed that.
You did miss that.
I'll watch the stream later.
Thank you. Don't forget to hit that like button. Bar. What are you most
100%
excited-
Wonder Woman.
100% Wonder Woman. Okay.
Kelly Thompson on Wonder Woman. That's all I need to say.
Dom.
Yeah,
What about you,
Kelly
buddy?
Thompson and Wonder Woman.
Lars.
I think if Jason Aaron can pull off that Superman one, it's going to be a knockout. So I guess I would vote for that one.
Okay. Jake.
I'm gonna say cautiously because I feel like it also could be the worst, but the Superman one I think could be the best. So
Yeah, that's it. Could go either way, but it could
yeah,
be the best. Absolutely be the best. Yeah,
I'm
Awesome.
hoping for the best.
yeah. Let's hope for the best.
And Peter.
My favorite writer and my favorite character, Absolute Wonder Woman.
So Jeff Lemire on Flash. Got it.
Jeff Lemire Flash all the way. Hey, what's it going to be a boots?
He will rip your heart out. All right. BJ, what about you, buddy?
Superman will look the best, but I'm most curious about reading Wonder Woman.
Okay. Omnidog.
Kelly Thompson, Wonder Woman.
And Kelly Thompson, Hayden Sherman, Wonder Woman for me. Holy crap. That looks good. And I'm a big fan of both of them. So yeah, let's
I'm
do
not
it.
surprised that no one on this panel said Scott Snyder and Dragata on Batman.
I'm actually surprised that Jake didn't go.
Yeah,
I
you know,
like other
Yeah,
characters.
He is the brave and the boy.
Possibly because Scott Snyder and Batman is the most known. I
Yeah.
mean, he has been doing Batman a long time, and this is the thing. It could be really great because he starts out strong, and then
Yeah.
frequently crashes and burns. But I read his All-Star Batman, and I thought that was very good. I don't own a copy, but it was very good. So this will probably be very good.
Thing
They
is, it's probably gonna sell the best. Out
They
of this
revealed that Wonder Woman is a
Possibly.
witch in this version and is coming from hell.
Okay, I
Oh,
changed my
yeah.
pick then.
Wow.
Now
You
I'm
changed
all
your
board.
pick?
Yeah.
You changed your pick already.
That's all.
Batman looks like Dark Knight, but with younger days, time, and Alfred more like yeah, definitely. That's the big surprise for me is the way I thought somebody was joking about Alfred in the chat. Nope, it's real. So I'm gonna let my guest sign out here and tell you all where you all can find them. Bar, I don't think you want to be found, but just in case, I don't know, where else are you?
You can find me on Discord. I'm always happy to chat.
We'll do that next time.
Tag me because I do not read the conversations. So awaken me to life by tagging me or sending me a message or on the chat on NMC and Jess and the streams with Jess and sometimes with Omar if he invites me more.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
I invite you all the time. Omar's a hater. Omar doesn't like women.
Well, that escalated quickly. Golly. No, it's not women. It's just Bar.
He doesn't like gay women.
Also not true. Tom, what about you, buddy?
You can obviously find me on Nearman Condition, but you can also find me at comicreleases.com. Again, we are your one-stop shop for all release dates, updates, and product information from every single big and indie publisher out there in comics. You can also find me on my YouTube channel, where I think I'm only 5 subscribers away from 400, so it's a big milestone for me.
Awesome,
would appreciate if you guys hit the sub button so I can get to that goal, and Dom of X Studio on all social media platforms.
All right, and Lars
Pearson, Mad Norwegian Press with Lance Parkin. I co-write A History, which is the definitive Doctor Who timeline. And Omar, it is not too late for us to do a show on the wrap up of the Shurigatwa season.
But you know what? I will talk to Amanda about that.
Yeah, talk to Amanda.
She's the manager of that show, so I'll ask her. And she had a lot of fun with you the last time. And I need to finish watching it. Honestly,
I do too. Yeah,
I kind of dropped it when we went to Japan. I've been catching up on my shows. BJ, what about you, buddy? Where can people find you?
Sure, you can find me on YouTube at Comics Are Dope or at comicsaredope.com, where you'll find my newsletter, my podcast, and all the other things associated with me.
Excellent. Peter, where are you hiding these days?
My name is Crisis with a K. I'm found everywhere on the internet talking about comics under that moniker. I am at crushingcrisis.com, where I've been taking a little bit of a break this past month since Omar was on vacation. I thought I could take a vacation too. But usually I am talking about the new releases from Marvel and DC every week.
Did you take a vacation to New Zealand?
I took a vacation in my house, yes.
Okay, yes.
And giving context, like we talk about on the stream, like why should you read them? Who are the creators? How does that book? That's how I've known about stuff like the Green Lantern run, like the Batman runs that we've been talking about on the show. And then I'm here on Your Mint Condition. I'll be back this time next week to talk about Marvel solicits.
That's right. And the Brave and the Boy. What's up, man? Jake, where can people find you?
There's 2 of us on our channel. I'm just the visual half. The other one is has more of the camera face,
So who's the Brave and who's the Boy?
I'm the one that says keep reading and stay brave. So I think I'm the brave one. That's my catchphrase. But yeah, you can find me on YouTube. We have a Discord. We have a TikTok, and we're also if you're into like old school music, we have an audiophile YouTube channel called Upscale Audio that we're now a part of. So like tube amps, vinyl record players, that kind of stuff.
Excellent. And last but not least,
make it super long, Jess.
My wife.
Starting in 1959.
Liar already. You're already lying about your age. Go ahead.
I'm not. That's when I was born. What the hell? Starting in 1979. I'm Omnidog from Omnidog's Vault on YouTube. Omnidog_vault on Instagram, and I have a Discord also, and I just put out a video, the 5 books. What's it called, Jake? The 5 books
the 5 book challenge.
5 books I love best. Something like that.
Important books to him.
It sounded like you were turning Swedish there for a moment.
5 most important.
This is my Discord.
I love that
These are my 5 favorite books.
These are my favorite books.
These are my favorite books.
Jake, and you're still asking him for help.
I'm his intern, but I am not paid. He's never let me sign a contract. He said I should be, I should help but not be seen.
Oh my
The,
god.
Yeah.
the work is the reward unto itself.
Yeah, he said you'll get college credit, but I'm not even a student anymore.
And I am not affiliated with a college either, so it works out.
But
At least Dom gets
before we destroy and bomb this thing, I just want to let the audience know Absolute Flash will not release until next year.
Good.
Thank you.
Take your
Thank you for
time.
that, Dom.
Why should it be
and I am
fast?
the Uncanny Omar. I will be back tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday. So we will be back with our Marvel stream on next Thursday. And be on the lookout for announcements because the suit's back probably as early as if I can get everything approved by Sunday. But that's it, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Smash that like button and check out these wonderful people's channels or their books, or I don't know where the hell Bar is, their Discord or whatever she does. But that's it for us, everybody. Have a wonderful day and go and watch Deadpool and Wolverine before he gets spoiled for you.
And read your backup issues.
Wakanda forever.